My friends, you can feel it. It's that time of year when Howie time begins. The phones don't stop ringing, the buzz behind the scenes is real, and the whole city holds its breath waiting for the next move. Because when the trade window opens, we all know what's coming. But hold on, before diving into all the rumors and speculation, there's already a lot happening inside the building. Players returning, adjustments being made, and decisions that could change the course of the season. The team's coming off a win, the timing is perfect, and the feeling is clear. Something big might be on the horizon. Now here's the deal. If you believe this is the moment to turn the corner, hit that like button and drop a comment below. Who do you want to see wearing midnight green in the coming weeks? Because one thing's for sure, when the gate opens in Philly, Howie Roseman doesn't hesitate. He strikes. And when he moves, the rest of the NFL feels it. Go Birds! The trade window is open in Philadelphia, and you can almost feel that familiar buzz around the NovaCare complex. It's that time of year when Howie Roseman starts working the phones, studying contracts, and somehow pulling off moves that make the rest of the league stop and say, of course it was Howie. The Eagles have always loved making deals right around their bye week. It gives the new guy time to get in the building, adjust, and be ready to contribute down the stretch. And with a win over the Giants, the timing could be perfect. Because if there's one thing we've learned, it's that when the window opens, Howie strikes. Now, before we get deep into the trade talk, let's go over what's already happening in the building. The Eagles opened the practice window for cornerback Jacorian Bennett and added guard Sua Opeta back to the practice squad. And honestly, both moves make sense. Opeta has proven he can help in the run game, and that's an area Philadelphia desperately needs to fix before the playoffs. Injuries to guys like Landon Dickerson and Cam Jurgens have slowed things down in the trenches, and there's still no clear word on Jurgens' status. But Opeta's return brings some familiarity and depth, something you always want this late in the year. As for Jacorian Bennett, that's a move worth paying attention to. A lot of fans haven't really seen what he can be yet. He got some snaps, started to look more comfortable, and then got hurt. But Bennett flashed something that stood out: physicality and clean tackling. When he gave up a catch, he didn't allow much yards after contact. That's something this secondary has been missing. And honestly, he looked better than Adoree Jackson and Khalil Ringo at times. So, getting Bennett back could quietly be a bigger boost than most people realize. Still, when you look at where the Eagles can actually upgrade, it's hard not to focus on the edge. The pass rush just hasn't been as dominant as it should be. You can't rely solely on interior pressure. This team needs another weapon coming off the edge. And the rumors out of Miami are interesting. The Dolphins might move one or even two pass rushers before the deadline. Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb could both be on the block, and Chubb, in particular, fits what Philadelphia needs right now. Think about it. Chubb already knows Vic Fangio's system from his time in Denver and Miami. He's got 4 sacks this season, more than any Eagle edge rusher at the moment, and he's playing healthy. He wouldn't need weeks to figure things out. He could walk into the locker room and contribute immediately. Plus, he's under contract with no guaranteed money left, which gives Howie the flexibility he loves. A restructured deal could keep Chubb in Philly beyond this season, and the cost? Maybe a 4th-round pick. With the number of compensatory picks the Eagles are projected to have, that's not a steep price for an impact player. There's talk about Trey Hendrickson, too, but questions remain about his fit in Fangio's system. Max Crosby? Forget it. The Raiders aren't moving him. Jalen Phillips could be an option, but he's more of a long-term investment. Chubb, though, that's the guy who checks all the boxes. He's physical, familiar with the scheme, and productive right now. Imagine this scenario. The Eagles beat the Giants, hit their bye at 6-2, and then add Bradley Chubb. By the time they face Green Bay, you could be looking at a defensive front that includes Brandon Graham making his first start of the year, Nolan Smith returning from injury, and a proven pass rusher like Chubb coming off the edge. That changes everything. Suddenly, you've got rotation, depth, and speed again, exactly what you need before facing 2 critical games against Green Bay and Detroit. And let's not overlook the bigger picture. The Eagles already hold tiebreakers over the Rams and Buccaneers, and if they can split the Packers and Lions, they're right back in the driver's seat for the NFC's top seed. But to make that happen, they need more pressure, more consistency, and a defense that can close games late. Then there's the noise around A.J. Brown, and let's be honest, it's always something, right? One minute he's scoring 2 touchdowns, the next the media's exploding over a cryptic Instagram post that says, "Using me but not using me." Everyone starts talking, radio hosts, analysts, social media insiders, all trying to turn it into quarterback drama. But let's be real, Brown might just be trolling. He knows how to stir things up online, and he knows everyone will bite. What matters is how he plays. When he steps on the field, he delivers. Period. Whatever's going on behind the scenes, it's it's not affecting how he performs. And it's definitely not shaking Jalen Hurts, DeVonta Smith, or anyone else in that locker room. They've got their eyes on one thing: winning. Because if there's one thing we've learned about Howie Roseman, it's that he doesn't sit still when he smells opportunity. Every season there's that one move that changes everything, and it almost always comes when nobody's expecting it. Remember when people thought the roster was set and then Howie pulled off the Kevin Byard trade last year? Or when he went and got Haason Reddick, who immediately turned into one of the most dangerous edge rushers in the league. This front office knows the window to win is now, and they're not afraid to push all their chips to the middle of the table. Adding a player like Bradley Chubb would send a clear message. This team isn't just planning to make the playoffs, they're planning to dominate when they get there. With Vic Fangio's scheme beginning to settle in, the defense has shown flashes of the potential everyone expected. But imagine what it would look like if they could actually finish games the way they start them. Adding a proven pass rusher could make that difference. You don't just pressure quarterbacks, you change their entire approach, force bad throws, and give your secondary a chance to thrive. And speaking of that secondary, getting Jacorian Bennett back at the same time would be huge. Bennett may not be a household name yet, but coaches like his physical style. He's aggressive, doesn't shy away from contact, and plays with confidence. That's exactly the kind of energy this defense feeds on. When the Eagles are at their best, they're not just talented, they're relentless. They hit, they swarm, and they play with that attitude that screams Philadelphia football. It's also important not to overlook what's happening on offense. The run game, for example, still feels like it hasn't found its rhythm. Injuries on the offensive line have slowed the ground attack, and that's a major piece of what made this team so dangerous in the past. Bringing back Sua Opeta adds depth, but it's going to take more than that. It's going to take chemistry and health. Landon Dickerson and Cam Jurgens are key to getting that interior push back, because when the run game clicks, it opens everything up for Jalen Hurts and that passing attack. Now, about that passing attack, A.J. Brown's situation has been the talk of the city, but let's cut through the drama. You can say what you want about his personality or his social media posts, but you can't argue with his production. Week after week, he's one of the most reliable weapons in football. Whatever he's posting online, it's not showing up as a problem on the field. The chemistry between him and Jalen Hurts is still strong, and that's all that matters when you're chasing a Super Bowl. And don't think for a second that this locker room is distracted. Not by outside noise, not by speculation, and definitely not by social media. This group has been through too much together, the highs, the heartbreak, the questions, to get thrown off course now. They know what's coming after the bye week. Green Bay and Detroit, two teams that will test every weakness the Eagles have. Those are statement games, and the roster needs to be ready. That's why this trade window matters so much. It's not about panic. It's about precision, about identifying that one move that elevates a good team into a great one. Whether it's Chubb, another surprise name, or even a late veteran signing, the Eagles need that extra push. This team is built to win now, but the difference between a playoff run and a championship often comes down to depth, health, and timing. And let's be honest, the city can feel it. The fans know when something's brewing. Every time the bye week hits and trade rumors start to swirl, Philly holds its breath. Because Howie's history tells us one thing: something's coming. He won't let a window like this close without trying to make the roster better. He's done it too many times before. So here we are again, in that familiar spot where everything feels just a little too quiet, where the team's coming off a crucial win and the whole city's wondering if another big swing is around the corner. Maybe it's Chubb, maybe it's someone we're not even talking about yet. But one way or another, Howie Roseman's fingerprints will be all over whatever happens next. And if it works, if the move lands, the defense gels, the run game steadies, and the Eagles take that next step, you can feel where this story is headed. Philadelphia could be right back in the hunt for the #1 seed, setting up another deep postseason run with the kind of balance and firepower that made them unstoppable not long ago. The pieces are all there. The timing is perfect, and Howie's window is open, because once that move is made, once Howie does what Howie does, there's no turning back. It sets the tone for the entire second half of the season. Think about what that message would send to the locker room. The front office believes this team can win it all right now. It says to the veterans, we're not waiting for next year. It says to the younger guys, get ready, because we're going to war. And if we're being honest, that's exactly what this team needs. The Eagles' schedule after the bye is brutal. Green Bay, Detroit, San Francisco, these aren't just games. They're measuring sticks. Every one of them will test whether this roster can hang with the NFC's elite. That's why every detail matters. The run game has to return to form. The pass rush needs to get home. The secondary has to communicate better. And Jalen Hurts has to keep playing with that calm, unshakable confidence that defines him. Hurts has handled the spotlight better than almost anyone in this league. He doesn't flinch when things get tough. And that kind of leadership is what holds a locker room together when everyone outside is talking. He's the reason players like A.J. Brown and DeVonta Smith can just focus on football. No matter what noise swirls around them, they know the guy under center isn't rattled, and you can feel that same mindset spreading through the defense. Fletcher Cox has been vocal about accountability. Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter are starting to take on bigger roles. If they can add one more consistent edge rusher to take pressure off those guys, this defensive line could return to being the most feared in the NFL. That's what made this team special 2 years ago. They didn't just win with talent, they won by suffocating teams in the trenches. That's Philadelphia football. Now, some people might say, why trade? Why not just wait and let the guys you have develop? But that's not how you win in this city. Not when your championship window is open. Not when you've got a roster filled with veterans whose clocks are ticking. Players who've been through the grind, who know how hard it is to get back to the Super Bowl. You make the move because every great team needs that one midseason spark that flips the switch. And let's not pretend Howie hasn't done this dance before. He's always 2 steps ahead, thinking not just about this season but about the next 2 or 3. Maybe Bradley Chubb is that perfect short-term fit who can still be part of the long-term vision. Maybe he's just the start of something bigger. The thing about Roseman is that he's not afraid to make bold moves when others hesitate, and that's why the Eagles are always in the mix. There's also something poetic about all this happening during Kelly Green Week. It's more than just nostalgia. It's a reminder of the team's identity. When you see that color, you think of toughness, grit, and pride. You think of a city that doesn't ask for easy, just for effort. The Kelly Green jerseys aren't just a throwback, they're a statement.